All right. Good morning, Facebook, YouTube.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Make sure you like and share. We're only going to be with you a short moment this morning, so
But stay tuned for the interview.
a brief moment.
Yeah. But stay tuned for the interview that'll come up at 8:35. Let's go. Come on, get up. Cause you tune into the station for your morning motivation to get your education for your health and your spiritual need. Yeah, strong will to empower people. So promote the peace, no positive attitude, baby. That's a lifelong dream goal. Yeah, health matters and we're here to help you. Become a better you. To be the best version you can be.
What you doing?
Yeah, ain't it time for this classic, fantastic for your soul. Jackie and Coach Patrick right here, let's go.
Good morning, everyone. This is Jackie.
And Coach Patrick.
You are listening to WAAW Shout 94.7 FM, the voice of the gospel truth.
And this is another beautiful day the Lord has made.
Hey, we're going to choose to rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning, CSRA. Welcome to Help Matters this morning.
And those on Facebook and YouTube, thank you so much for joining us on this morning. Our Facebook channel is Get Fit with Jackie Fitness, and our YouTube channel is Health Matters Jackie and Coach. If you'd like to know what those are, so you can always go back and look at our previous broadcasts.
Amen.
Most definitely.
So we just want to start off with something to be grateful for. Remember, guys, always. I hope y'all survived all that rain that we had in the forecast. But that's
much needed.
Yeah, it was much needed rain. Yeah. It was much needed rain. But guys, we always like to start off something to be grateful for, because there's nothing too big or too small to be not to be grateful for. So find something this morning to be grateful for, because they're not only physical health benefits in being grateful, but there's so many other reasons to be grateful and thankful. Just waking up this morning, having breath in our lungs. So we just want to give that first morning, that first thing to God, and
right.
Just giving Him the glory in the morning, just thanking Him. Because we say this is the day the Lord has made. It is the day He made.
Most definitely.
Because He chose us today.
And we don't take that for granted.
Amen.
Yeah, the joy of the Lord is our strength.
Yes.
Most definitely. So again, welcome to Help Matters. This morning, we're going to be talking about happiness and healthy relationships. Now on the 14th, we were talking about our matters of the heart topics, and we talked about forgiveness, and we were going to talk about happiness, but you guys love talking about forgiveness. You was calling in so much, so we didn't get a chance to talk about that. So we're going to close it out with happiness and healthy relationships on this morning. But let's do some house cleaning before we get into that topic. We want to recognize our sponsors, partners, friends. Aiken Chiropractic, Dr. Dan. When your spine is aligned, your body is too. Aiken Chiropractic is located at 425 Lawrence Street Northwest, right here in Aiken, South Carolina. Their number is 803-641-9191. Their website, www.aikenchiropractic.com. And nobody turned down Keith Richardson, Medicare. Get a free Medicare checkup and make sure you're in the right Medicare plan. Keith will do that for you. They'll help you do that. 803-281-6600 is his number. 803-281-6600 is his number. His email is keith@nobodyturneddown.com. His website is www.nobodyturneddown.com. And we have a treat for you after the second half of the show. Keith is going to be interviewed by us. He'll be getting you a lot of information out about Medicare. So make sure you stay tuned after the break at 8:30 to listen to that interview with Mr. Keith Richardson of Nobody Turned Down. And Centerware Senior Primary Care, helping seniors live healthier and happier lives. They're located at 3435 Riceboro Road in Augusta, Georgia. Their number is 706-841-9719. Their website is www.centerwell.com. And Graham's Vehicle Detailing, affordable mobile detailing with professional results. Their number is 706-830-4982. and their website is www.gramsgvd.com. If you would like to be a sponsor, partner, or friend of the broadcast, you can call 706-592-8862. We would love for you to help us do what we do. And if you want to make a greater investment into your business or to your company, then there are opportunities for you to advertise and sponsor other shows, but advertise over the radio broadcast throughout the week. And there are packages for that. If you're interested in that, you can give us a call at 803-649-6405. And we'd love to go over the packages that are available for weekly and daily advertisement specials for the radio station. Again, this is February, the last day of it, Jackie. So happy birthday.
Yes, the 28th. You know, my aunt was born on the 29th. So she used to tell us I don't have a birthday every year.
Every year.
I'm like, you have to have a
Still
birthday
got to
every year.
celebrate. Yeah.
Still have to celebrate.
Still getting
But
a year older.
Yeah, but I want to send a shout out to the Centerwell on Wrightsville Road. Yes, to Dr. John Lawson and Jacoby Carpenter, Haley, and Raven over there. Great staff over there. I go over there once a month to, work with the seniors over there. So I just want to give them a shout out.
Awesome. All right, happy birthday and happy anniversary to everyone that's celebrating birthdays and anniversary in this great month of February. We wish you well. And again, we're coming up on our Help Matters happenings. Now, we're going to establish this because we used to do Help Matters happenings all the time, and we're going to start that back up, as I told you. When you hear this, not that, when you hear that sound, you know we'll be going to our Help Matters happenings and our wellness tips, okay? And as we said earlier this month we are recognizing our Black history icons that made great strides and great impacts in America. We're doing that for our Help Matters happenings for February, but we'll go to our regular Help Matters happenings in the month of March. So let's do it. All right. Jackie, you usually say,
it's Help Matters happening time. This is the moment when we take the moment to bring you a Help Matter moment pertaining to your health and well-being. But this month we are dedicating it to our Black History Month.
That's right, y'all. And we're going to fine-tune that. We're going to make it real smooth for you when we bring it in, all right? But this morning's Help Matters happening. We're recognizing Mr. Jesse Lewis Jackson. He was born in Greenville, South Carolina. Jesse Jackson began his activism in the 1960s and founded the organizations that later merged to form the Rainbow Push Coalition. Expanding his work into international affairs in the 1980s, he became a vocal critic of the Reagan administration and launched a presidential campaign in 1984. Initially viewed as a fringe candidate, he finished third for the Democratic nomination behind former Vice President Walter Mondale and Senator Gary Hart. He continued his activism and mounted a second presidential bid in 1988, finishing as the runner-up for the Democratic nomination to Massachusetts Governor Michael Dukakis. Jackson did not seek the presidency again, but in 1990 he was elected as the District of Columbia's shadow senator, serving one term during the Bush and Clinton administrations. Although initially critical of President Bill Clinton, he later became a supporter. Jackson hosted Both Sides with Jesse Jackson on CNN from 1992 to 2000. A critic of police brutality, the Republican Party, and conservative policies, he was widely regarded as one of the most influential African-American activists of his era. And as Mr. Jackson would say, keep hope alive.
Yes, icon has gone on to be with the Lord. So,
yeah.
But his legacy continues. He made a
great
impact, in our community for, the African Americans and so everyone. So
right.
We just want to thank him for his service and well done,
That's right. We salute you.
We salute you and give you your honor. And may you be
rest
in peace in honor.
That's right.
Yes, so we want to bring y'all wellness tips this morning. And, of course, we've been talking about Healthy Heart Month, and we're finishing up that month. But some of the wellness tips, this is Help Matters wellness tips this morning. We're going to talk about just continue to move more. Get up and get out and move. Take stairs if you can. walk doing commercials, get up and move around the house if you're at home. Even at work on lunch breaks, take a walk, get some steps in. Um, Practice mindful eating. Aim to, just eat whole foods, mindful of your snackings, what you're eating, when you're eating, how much of it are you eating. Make sure you're hydrated. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Manage stress. I can't, be, this is put so much emphasis on this because there's so much going on in the world. So make sure you are practicing managing your stress by, journaling, reading or praying or reading your word, whatever it does, breathing, practice some breathing exercise, anything to just calm yourself down or just, take your mind off. Prioritize sleep. This is very important, guys, to have a consistent sleep schedule. I know sometimes we can have a late night, but most of the time, make sure we're getting enough sleep. It's very important. And also take mental breaks. Get off the screen time. Monitor that. You do have timers to tell you to take a break. Mine's have it on there because I do a lot of research. So I said I was going to start doing more on my computer. So, but yes, have those timers on there to tell you to, take a break, come off the screen, because especially with that blue screen, that affects your eyes a whole lot. It can increase dry eyes and pain behind the eyes. So please manage that. It could cause fatigue. So manage that screen time. Take mental breaks for yourself. Okay, so taking that self-care time and taking that time with you. I call them those wellness break. Take a wellness break with yourself. Those wellness appointments. Check in with yourself. Those have been our Help Matters wellness tip. So we appreciate it and thank you.
All right, so you heard our Help Matters happenings and our wellness tips. We're going to smooth that up so it'll flow in real easy for you.
We just started bad.
All right, guys, so we're going to get into this topic for today. Our feature topic today, as I said, it was Matters of the Heart, subtopic of happiness and healthy relationships. Now, we started, Jackie, talking about Matters of the Heart this month, basically because it is American Healthy Heart Awareness Month, and we did talk about the medical aspect of taking care of your heart, but we also talk about matters of the heart, the things that affect your heart, as it pertains to happiness, forgiveness, and things like that. And we had a great conversation topic on February 14th. If you want to hear that, go back to our social media channels, Get Fit with Jackie Fitness on Facebook or Help Matters Jackie and Coach on YouTube, and listen at that forgiveness topic. It was really, really, really good. I think it'll help you. And we talked about how forgiveness involved a deep personal internal decision to release bitterness, anger, and resentment, allowing for emotional, spiritual, and physical healing, which is so important. We talked about how it's a process of letting go of past pain to open one's heart and which requires self-compassion, self-forgiveness, and the choice to stop suffering. And then we also talked about how the reconciliation part can be conditional. Although forgiveness, we have no option in that. As believers, we have to forgive. And we talked about how reconciliation, though, is conditional based on that relationship level. But to get the rest of that, you got to go and hear that. So, Jack, let's talk about happiness. Let's talk about happiness.
And, happiness is a choice, and it's fleeting. It can go up and down. But that joy, that unspeakable joy of the Lord is our strength. So happiness is a choice. And when we choose, to allow things, situations, and circumstances to rob us of our happiness, that sometimes can steal our joy.
Most definitely.
But that, I think there's something that we can control. But when you know your joy is in the Lord, the joy of the Lord is your strength.
That's right.
And then I'm not saying that, we get it right off, because sometimes people can kind of, disrupt you and tap on that flesh. That's what I like to call it, tap on that flesh, because that's all it is. It's just the flesh reacting to what's going on. And what I have learned to do is find out, why did that make me react that way? So I began to do an inner search. I began to do an inner thing with me. Now, I can't control what people would do or what people would say and how they will react towards something. But I immediately, I don't blame myself or anything, but I still would go, why did I allow that what that to affect me?
Your response to
My
something.
response to it, because I don't want to sit here and let that take dormant or become a doorstep. Like a stopping place, a red light right there for me. To say, okay, no, let me see what's going on, because I'm not going to let this steal my joy. I'm not going to let this rob me of my whole day, because you could be going on with your day and somebody come just like boop, cut you off a track, and then you mad the rest of the day, and you talking about this the rest of the day.
Right.
So yes. So
yeah, and I like how you separated happiness and joy. It is two different things.
Yeah.
Happiness depends on what's happening, so that could affect us in different ways. And our joy, we get our joy from the Lord, and no one can steal that. Happiness refers to cultivating an internal state of joy, peace, and contentment that is not dependent on external circumstances. It involves nurturing emotional well-being, practicing self-love, maintaining positive relationships, and acting with compassion. So, happiness, if you're not good with handling external circumstances, then your emotions are involved with your happiness.
Right.
And it could cause you to react in ways that, you you'll look back on that situation and say, just like you just said, why did I do that? Why did I say that? Or why did I act this way? What caused me to do that? And that's why you got to do that deep search for yourself, so that you don't allow these, external situations, temporary external situations, to govern, your attitude, or how you're going to treat somebody, or how you even react to a situation.
Yeah, because that can roll off to someone else. Say for instance, you're going to work, and then you get cut off, or somebody disturb you, or say for instance you get upset, before you leave home. If you don't take time to, like, okay, let me calm down, let me breathe, and let's see what's going on. You can take that same attitude, that same,
if you let that situation dictate,
exactly. If you let it govern your steps and order your steps, you're going to take that same attitude into work. And we have seen this over, and I have done it, guilty of it, and a lot of us have, but then as you mature, as you get older, we should, okay, what's going on here? Am I going to let this take my joy? Is I'm going to spend the rest of my day, I got 8 hours at work, I'm going to spend the rest of my day pouting and upset and taking it out on the patients, or I'm just relating to, so whoever, where you're going. So, or I'm going to change the narrative, and I'm going to say, no, I'm not going to let this steal my joy, because that's not me.
Self-control.
Yeah.
That's one of the fruits of the Spirit.
Right.
To have self-control, and that's in every area of our life.
And it's not easy for some people. You got to grow there. Because some people say, I just can't, but you have to grow there. And that's why you got to do an inner work.
And you have to practice it.
And you have, yes.
Yeah, you have to practice. I mean, we start off the show all the time talking about gratitude.
Yeah.
Part of being happy is just showing gratitude for some simple things in your life. I always like to give biblical perspectives on things. So let's look at a little biblical perspective on happiness. The Bible presents true happiness. True happiness, often described as blessedness, is often described as joy or flourishing, not as a fleeting emotion based on circumstances, and that's the worldly happiness. It's based on circumstances, if things going your way, and things like that.
Right.
But the Bible is a deep, lasting state found in trusting, obeying, and abiding in God. Key principles includes delighting in the Lord, serving others, and experiencing inner peace through faith. The definition of blessed in the you find in the Beatitudes in Matthew chapter 5, Jesus described the happy, blessed person as someone who is humble, someone who is meek, someone who is merciful and righteous, rather than someone who with worldly success. So those are some things to think about.
Right.
We think that to be happy, we have to feel or be a certain way. And that's where our emotions kind of get twisted and tied up, and we're not feeling a certain way, then we can't be happy about this situation, or we can't be happy for others. So we have to be careful with that.
And gratitude is when you can say you can do something good for someone when you going through. that brings a sense of compassion,
Mm-hmm.
and so, but like I said, it's something you have to practice. That's something, and it's called it, and just being satisfied with who you are, and that takes time, Coach. I mean, everybody's not there.
You're right.
People didn't had different past experiences in their lives, and
Mm-hmm.
so their first response may be,
Mm-hmm.
to just
Right.
angry or lash. And so, but you as a mature Christian or mature person,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's somewhere in the Bible, I think it's probably don't, in Psalm, don't add fuels to the fire. Don't keep, sweet words like a honeycomb.
Mm-hmm.
So you can diffuse that. And I
Mm-hmm.
have done that plenty of time. I have diffused anger
I think the
when the
worldly. I
person
think.
wanted to
Yeah.
get angry, but they couldn't because I showed so much love to them,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I
to
think the
them.
worldly phrase is "kill 'em with kindness."
My mom used to tell me that, I
Yeah.
just love them with kindness. But
Yeah.
yeah, my mom used to tell me that, and she instilled that in me so much until that it just became a part of me,
Mm-hmm.
and we just have, we got to learn to do that. No, you're not going to be a doormat. It's just how we respond,
Most definitely.
because we got to remember we're ministering with our lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
God is watching our reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And how we react to the circumstances,
Most definitely.
of the situation. So, like I said, I had to grow that because we all still becoming.
That's right.
So, some people is a little bit further than others. So, we got to show that grace
Mm-hmm.
towards, and they may not want to be that way, but where they're at in the place of their life right there. That's how they know how. But
Mm-hmm.
if we can be that person to show them there's a better way, because now I'm going to sow this seed. I'm going to sow this seed of kindness. I'm going to sow this seed of compassion,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's what I'm going to do. So, because once I leave, they're going to like, she could have got angry with me,
Mm-hmm.
but she chose not to. And I done had situations like that. I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But years later, hey, you find yourself, somebody coming back to you, you know what? You never got angry, or you always,
Right.
So
So
you got
that
to watch
just
our
yeah.
witness.
So that
Yeah,
just
I
show you
want.
the impact that can make in other
Right.
people's lives. When you are walking out, things like that, and
Right.
not allowing your emotions to take over situations and things.
Yes.
So let's get into these key aspects, because as we said, we're going to be brief with you live this morning, but we do have an awesome interview with Keith Richardson that's going to come up after our music break at about 8:30. So we want you to stay tuned for that, because he's going to put out a lot of great information about Medicare. Okay, and Medicaid. But Jack, let's look at these key aspects of happiness in matters of the heart. One is relationship with yourself. It's so important just to have a relationship with yourself, because that's going to be the foundation for your happiness. And that involves healing from past traumas. We talked about that when we talked about, forgiveness, and, setting healthy boundaries. I think that one right there is so key, to set
Right.
those boundaries, especially when it comes to relationships. And just be true to yourself, and then follow your path.
Yes.
So many times we get focused on what someone else is doing, or how someone else is doing something, and now we're off our path, that path that God has set us on, to be successful, to be happy, to be joyful, because now we're so caught up in what someone else is doing. And now, because you're doing the wrong homework, you can't find your happiness in that. You can't find your joy in that. So stay on your path.
Yeah.
All of that's part of your finding a good relationship with yourself.
Yes, and loving yourself. And so, like I said, you have to. That's that relationship you have. That's that godly relationship. That's that inner work that has to be done.
Most definitely.
That has to be done, and that's going to start with you having a relationship.
That's right.
With God, and you're going to have that.
That's right. And loving yourself.
And other therapists is not nothing wrong with that either.
Nothing at all.
God give us doctors as well, but just having that internal peace. Got to have that internal peace, and knowing who you are, and the contentment.
Oh my goodness!
Be satisfied with who you are.
Yeah.
And that's a growing process, and where you are, accepting the present moment rather than the constantly chasing more, want the grand, want the best, want the most. And, sometimes the simple things in life is the best things in life, So but that's that worldly thing. Because God said he supplied all our needs according to his riches and glories, So, and sometimes we make it more about our wants, and about what our needs, what our needs are. So God knows what we need. He order our steps, and He makes straight
He
our
gives us
path
the desires of our
of
heart.
our heart when
That's right.
our heart aligns up with His what? Will
That's right.
for our lives.
That's right.
Yes.
And when you're content, then you can embrace who you are becoming. You said that earlier about becoming. Jackie wrote a book about still becoming, of a journey from wellness to wholeness. It's an awesome book. It's up on the video slot right now. If you haven't got a copy of it, you want to go get a copy of that book. And you can go to womenowningwellness.com, or you can just go to Amazon and put Still Becoming, a woman's journey from wellness to wholeness. Awesome book. It'll help you with some things. Jackie, gratitude is another key aspect of happiness and matters of the heart. You got to acknowledge the good. We talk about it all the time.
All the time.
You got to acknowledge the good, no matter how small it may seem. It just acknowledge the good. Gratitude is going to help you cultivate a positive and hopeful outlook, just for your day or just for that situation. It causes you to look at things differently and approach it differently.
Yeah, from a different perspective, and we have to reframe the narrative, our mindset, and we have to redirect our thoughts.
Right.
Like I said, that's going to come with practice. We got to practice
replacing
negative thoughts with positive thoughts. That means we may don't quick to react, but breathe. Okay, what is the best way to respond? And you can do that. Okay, God, what is the best way to respond? Help me to respond the right way, because flesh want to just lash out. And like I said, that takes practice, that takes maturity. And everybody is just not there. So we meet people where they're at. So that's why our witness is very important, Coach. How we walk this life.
Right.
People are watching us.
Right.
So we have to be the salt. We have to be the light.
Yeah. And we make a powerful statement every time we open up the broadcast. And we're not the only ones on this station that does it. We say, this is a day that the Lord has made. I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it. That's a declaration.
It is.
That's you showing gratitude right there.
Right.
Something that we take so small, that statement is powerful. I'm going to rejoice and be glad in this day, meaning that I'm going to practice gratitude in this day. Another key aspect, Jackie, did you have to comment on that?
No, because we getting close.
Close.
Managing
your emotions.
Oh, wow. I had to learn that. I was at a point where I was like, God, why do I cry so much? I would cry the doctor down. I was just a baby. But God just say, I'm like, take this. And God, and God spoke to me. He said, no. He said, I made you the way I made you. He said, you got to learn to manage it. Right. And that's where I had to start getting in the Word of God and growing. That's why I said this maturity. Finding that strength is in Him, because if we wait on our own willpower, it ain't gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen.
Because soon as something come up, a situation, circumstance come up,
you're gonna revert.
You're gonna revert to what that flesh knows, because it's still laying dormant up in there. And if you ain't got no word in there, you ain't got the word of God in there, you're just gonna go off. That flesh gonna do what flesh do. So you gotta conquer that flesh.
But that's a good point you make about managing emotion, Jackie, because we have to be realistic. Happiness is not the absence of sadness. It's not the absence of issues, but it is the capacity to process both joy and pain, issues and sadness and all of these things. It's the capacity to do that. Some people just don't have the capacity to manage that. That's what I'm saying. Because when you of the flesh, you tend to do more things of the flesh. If you're of the spirit, you tend to follow, live by the spirit. So you got to have the capacity to do that. And this is going to help you when you got the capacity to do that and to manage these different emotions that are going to happen, that are going to come up. Then that allows for a deeper, more meaningful life for you, because now you take that control back. Right. You take that control back.
Yeah, and healthy relationships are built on foundation of mutual respect, trust, honesty, and open communication. You got to have that trust and that communication. You have to. You have to. When you have, my husband is an introvert. He is. I'm an extrovert. But we both have, and I'm learning that now as I get older, I'm becoming more in the introvert. And it's the in between. You come out when you have to, but then you pull back. But yes, And it's hard when you just got one person communicating. So communication is very critical in a relationship, not just a husband and wife, but also with friendship, you know, having some people. I was the type, I just couldn't tell people how I really felt. And I would allow people to just say and do whatever,
Right.
you know.
And
Yeah,
right. And
exactly. So, and I didn't communicate that. I didn't know how to communicate that. Some people,
right.
I didn't like conflicts.
Right. So that's
Yeah,
good. So a good, healthy relationship is one where both people feel supported, safe, and
right,
equal. Some of the key components of a
right.
healthy relationship is setting healthy boundaries, allowing for independence in the relationship, practicing consent. You know, you have consent to do this or say these or things like that,
Yeah.
and resolving conflict constructively without manipulation or control. All right, guys, we're gonna take a musical break, and right after the musical break, Mr. Keith Richardson of Nobody Turned Down will be coming up in a pre-recorded interview with Jackie and I talking about Medicare. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that interview. Have a good one.
All right, that's supposed to be in the middle. All right, guys, welcome back to WAEW South 94.7.
All right, Facebook and YouTube, make sure you guys tune back in. That interview is going to be coming to you on YouTube and Facebook right at about 8:35. Okay,
All right.
so if you want to have some questions, answers about Medicaid or Medicaid or Medicare, make sure you listen to that interview.
Because
All
it's
right,
a great interview,
it's a
guys.
great interview.
Especially if you are on that 60 age. You need to know it's a lot of new things is happening and it's a lot of changes is taking place. So you need to know that. You need to know what you are eligible for. All right. So you know these words and things to look for. So we need you to listen to this interview.
All right, guys, have
All
a
right.
good one.
Have a good one. See you next week.
Bye bye.